you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche. And after 22 years, Raymond Moore
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Well, there we go. And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network. Don't worry, you get to see my ugly mug still, Pierre. Pierre McGuire, Jimmy Murphy here on a Thursday. Pierre, the big topic around the NHL right now is the throwback going on in Colorado to the old Nordiques and Whalers days as the Carolina Hurricanes are there for the first game of a home and home. We will get into all of that later on in the show with Nordiques and NHL Hall of Famer Michel Goulet will be joining us. Always love when we have Gou on. One of the best to talk to and one of the best players I've seen in my lifetime. So I'm looking forward to that. But lots to recap from last night, lots to look ahead to for tonight. And we'll also do some questions before we talk to Gou. So let's get right into it, Pierre. I want to start to the game that you were paying close attention to last night. The Montreal Canadiens get a hard-earned victory, overtime win over the Calgary Flames in Calgary. And I think we're starting to realize that the hype was warranted around one identified.
Yeah.
Wow. What was that?
Yeah. I mean, you start looking at what's going on with Montreal right now. When they needed up the ante in that game, they did.
Mhm.
They did. They give up the turnover goal, Dobson's turnover, Klapka scores on it. And then you could see the last 10 minutes of that game, Montreal just upped the ante huge. And Demidov is, obviously a superstar in the waiting. I mean, he's really special.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people understand. Well, I shouldn't say if people understand, because I think people do understand. Montreal hadn't had an explosive guy like this. Like, I know Suzuki's explosive, and I know Caulfield's explosive, and potential for Slavkovsky is there. I don't know if they've had a guy this explosive that gets the fans out of their seats since Guy Lafleur.
Yeah.
Like, I know Stéphane Richer was a good player. Trust me, I coached against him when he was playing in Montreal. And I know Saku was a really good player. And Mark Recchi's a special friend of mine, and he was a really good player. None of those guys can do what this guy does.
Yeah, the one guy I would say, Pierre, that I felt like would sometimes have that effect where people were really in anticipation at times, but it was towards the end of his career, so not as much, was Kovalev. But
Yeah,
he
came
at the end there, so it wasn't.
to say that he would. This kid's 19 years old.
I know. It's like, wow.
Wait till I'm going to say 22, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
You watch where he is in 3 years.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. And by the way, a lot of people were all over him pretty much all of last season, and even in the off season, heading into this season. The guy on the beneficiary of that amazing assist from Demidov, Mike Matheson, he's having a heck of a start to this season, and not enough people are talking about it. I know you are up in Montreal, but I mean nationally.
No, I watched the broadcast last night. And Kelly Rudy's a friend and somebody that I respect a lot as a broadcaster. And I'm not even sure Kelly, who watches a lot of games, even appreciates how good Mike is. Mike is almost like an afterthought. They're talking about Noah Dobson, and it's not just him; it's everybody.
Yeah.
They're talking about Noah Dobson, and they're talking about this guy and that guy and this guy. And I'm like, anybody seen the shutdown component of Mike Matheson? Ever since he got relieved of power play duties in Montreal, he's been an amazingly important player for this team. And I said to Jeff Merrick today on his show, they got to get him signed. He's the best recruiting tool they have in Montreal.
Yeah.
He's a bilingual Anglophone who's come back to Montreal, is happy and proud and thrilled to play there, and he can tell anybody that the Canadiens try to pursue in free agency, I'm telling you, this is a special place to play.
Yep. Exactly.
And I chose to take less money to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he goes to market, he's gonna hit the mother load. I'll tell you that.
But
I don't think he's going to market. I personally don't think he is.
There's mutual desire to get something done there for sure from both sides. So I think they will. One more thing on that game, and as I said, as we were coming on here before we went live, I was listening to you and our good friend Jeff Merrick, and it was a great show, as always. And I was unaware of that Dustin Wolf comment post-game where he said, hey, I did what I can, but I can't score. And Jeff, and you made a good point. This could get tough for a young kid being thrown into a rebuild like this. I know you referenced Sean Burke, but at the time he was a veteran when that happened, right? But even for a veteran, it was hard for him to go through a rebuild. And it wasn't because he was a bad goalie or he was losing his team by any means.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing. What do you think they got to do to kind of guide him through this, being that he is still young and growing as a person and a player?
They're trying like heck. Last night they played a good game, actually. You got to give them. I thought Calgary played a really good game. They were well prepared. They had a neutral zone plan. They forced a lot of turnovers. Canadians did not have their A game for good portions of the first 45 minutes of that game. They kicked it into gear, like we said, after the Klapka goal. But I think they need to insulate them all the time. You got to stay out of the penalty box. I know their penalty killing was really good, but got to stay out of the penalty box. He also has to take. Look, he's going to get tired.
Oh yeah.
I remember we talked to Eric Francis last year about this, and I remember saying to him, "Hey, Eric, my biggest it's not his athleticism. I'm not concerned about that. I'm not even concerned about his height.
Nope.
I'm concerned about how much he weighs, and I just don't know how much he can last. If you're playing 60 to 65 times, and you're getting a barrage every night, and your guys have a hard time getting a 3, it's not going to be easy for him. I'm telling you right now."
What was one of the things we talked about it heading into this season when anytime we brought up the Flames, it was like our main sticking point, and Randy Workman's as well, our good Flames fan here in the comment section, was why did they get rid of Ladar? And if you're going to do it, why not go out and get a more capable veteran backup? And don't you think, I don't know who the guy is, I can't think off the top of my head right now. The guys that came to mind are retired, right? Like I was thinking like a Marty Baron or something. Some kind of guy that's sort of loose and fun to be around, can mentor him. It just, isn't really worried at this point. He just wants to help this kid grow. Find that veteran for him, and I think that will help him get through.
What's really cool? We're having Michel Goulet on because of what's going on with Colorado and Carolina and the Hartford Quebec connection from the old Adams division. One of the best guys I ever saw like that was Jacques Cloutier.
There you go.
And Gou will tell you, Michel Goulet will tell you, I think of all the guys I've seen in all my years in that role that you just described, Jimmy, he might have been the best guy I ever saw in that role.
Yeah,
I think we had a really good one. I think we had a really good one in Pittsburgh in Wendell Young. I think Wendell was really good at that. And I've seen a few other guys, like you talked about Marty Biron. I think Marty Biron was very good at that. Very good at that. But I think they're going to have to make
Dobin, Pierre. Get it like Adobe.
Anton's good. I mean, I remember so many games in Dallas just standing next to him and talking to him, and he'd be laughing. He made me laugh.
Yeah.
He was funny. I just think I know they have a plan in Calgary. Pretty sure they have a good plan. I think they're going to have to implement the plan faster than what they wanted to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Because their next game is tomorrow night in Winnipeg. That's going to be a house of horrors. That's going to be tough for them. Winnipeg is playing so well.
Great. They do play tonight, so you get on a back-to-back.
Kyle Connor stuff is amazing. Taves is starting to warm up. At some point they're going to get Adam Lowry back. At some point they're going to get, Cole Perfetti back. This is not a fun team to play against.
No, and we will we'll definitely get Mark Chipman on again. I know it didn't work last time, but we'll get him on again because that's another team, Pierre. I mean, I think down here in the
I think sorry to interrupt you. I think we should get our Neil on. I think we should get the coach on. I think we should get Scott on.
This period. We need to get on.
I think we should get him.
They're not getting enough love down here in the States.
No.
And they deserve it. They're quietly doing what they got to do and racking up the points. So that's a team we'll look at. Pierre, as I referenced to you and Shane, our great producer, when I was coming on, Mark Stone has been placed on LTIR, and immediately the arrows start flying on social saying that it's a conspiracy by the Vegas Golden Knights to gain cap space, and that's the only reason he's doing it. And people saying, here we go again. People, please go back and understand that you can't do that anymore. I forget what the date is, Pierre, but there's going to be a point where, you have to say either this guy's out for the season and he won't be able to play for the playoffs, or he's coming back, one or the other. So that's not what this is about. It's an injury, people. And as Pierre pointed out to me, Do they realize they already did that whole thing with Alex Pietrangelo and got the cap space there? They don't need it. They don't need the space. So please,
8.8 mil, babe. 8.8
yeah,
mil.
they don't need it. They don't need it there.
I just have a question though, Jimmy. First of all, I would never disrespect what Vegas has done, and I know a lot of people want to.
Mhm.
They came out of expansion and got to the Stanley Cup final their first year.
And they've only missed the playoffs once.
And I'm not sure they should have missed the playoffs that year, honestly.
Tough year.
So, like, I think they've done. I know people don't like their methods, and they're all business all the time. I'm about to speak at a huge conference with George McPhee next week in London, in Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
What they've done is amazing. Like, I'm telling you, just being honest with you.
They're ruthless. We're not arguing that.
No, we get it. They're ruthless. They are. They're ruthless.
Yeah, that's it. You got to do what you got to do to win. So I just want to touch on that because I had people saying, "Hey, what do you think of this?" And I said, "I don't think anything of it. He's hurt. That's it." Want to go? We were talking, and I got this one wrong. And as I try to do anytime I'm wrong, I'll admit it. Detroit and Buffalo last night, Pierre. Journeyman guy getting his first NHL start, and Colton Ellis, and he goes and he makes 29 saves against the Red Wings, and they win 4-2. Stop the Red Wings winning streak at 6 games. And also too, Pierre, in terms of from the Buffalo perspective there, because I was watching this and thinking about it, they got on a mini roll. They won 2 in a row, which is big for them considering where they've been for the last year. And then they lose, and I'm like, are they going to now go back and lose 4, then win 1 or 2 here? Then, it just goes that pattern for the whole season. This is twice now when they've answered the bell, when things could have gone south, and they came out with a good game. They beat a good team. I give him a lot of credit. Obviously, Ellis, congratulations to him for his first win. But I think Lindy Ruff deserves some credit here, Pierre, for the way he's navigated the early season here for the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, well, a big part of penalty kill is coaching, goaltending, and schemes.
Mm-hmm.
Penalty killing is really good.
It really is. Really
good. And you know what? A big part of power play is talent, coaching, and schemes. Their power play is really good too.
Exactly.
So, sometimes you just don't have enough artillery to get the job done. Like I've gone into situations as a coach where I was like, okay, we'll run this power play because we did it in Pittsburgh.
Right.
And then you go to the team that you're proposing it to, and you're like, I don't have Mario. I don't have Ronnie. I don't have Larry. I don't have Joey. I don't have Kevin. I don't have Rick. I don't have Mark. I don't have Paul. That's a bad idea. Bad idea. This isn't going to work. So, you can't run the same schemes.
Right.
So you got to adjust.
You got to. Yep. So credit to Lindy Ruff there. And then the final thing, too, I want to give credit on the New Jersey Devils. Boy, are they playing great hockey right now. I was texting with Tom Fitzgerald this afternoon, and he's happy, but cautiously happy, but happy. And the one thing I notice about that team when I watch them right now, Pierre, between now and last year, and I know they had health issues, and that obviously plays a role, their forecheck is way better right now. Like, they're on top of you. The second year, like, they are just right down on you. And I love when they play that up-tempo game, they're good.
Their closing speed is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And right now, you'd be hard-pressed to say there's not a better line in the league than Jack Hughes and Andre Palat and with Jesper Bratt. Yes. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better line in the league right now. I'm not saying for the whole year, but right now than that line.
Yep.
You'd be hard-pressed to find a better line.
Yeah. So
now, I know people in Winnipeg will say, hey, what about Velarde? What about Scheifele? What about Connor? Hats off. Agreed.
Yep.
But this line in New Jersey right now, they're running roughshod over people.
Yeah.
They lost the first night of the season to Carolina, their first night. They haven't lost since.
No, they haven't.
These guys are having a field day. They're running around the league just stomping people.
And their bottom guys are starting to step up too. Like some of those, under the radar signings that Fitz made, like a Paul Cotter. He had a great game last night.
Luke Glendening.
Luke Glendening
has been a steal for them.
Yep. So good
See ya.
Devils. Congratulations, their hot start. They'll be back in action tomorrow night. All right. So since we got Goulet supposed to come on about 4:30, we're gonna go to the sponsors and the questions now. We'll do Goulet, and if we have time to get more questions in, we will get him in after. So let me tell you about our wonderful sponsor, Vago here. Vago Italian, where you can go and let me give the extended read here too, because I've only been reading what you see up there on the screen, but there's so much more to Vago that I want you to know about. As I've told you, they've been open for 23 years. And in this day and age, and specifically ever since COVID, that's huge for restaurants. That's longevity. And the only way you're able to do that is if you're really, really good and the food is really good and the service is really good. And there it is phenomenal. I cannot wait to go there next month with Pierre and his wonderful mom. I'm looking forward to that. But as I've said, open 23 years, private dining rooms for any occasions. They've got plenty of free parking after 6. They're open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch on Tuesday to Friday. Fresh quality ingredients, old world Italian classics, along with new. They blend it in together. Come see Tommaso, the most popular man in Westmount. Will we meet him, you think, Pierre?
Yes.
All right. Looking forward to it. He's the partner in the front of the house. So get over there right now. It's 1336 Green Avenue in Westmount. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. And, of course, our wonderful sponsors over at Betway. And they've got a new deal going. It's even better. I was just informed by our wonderful friend Shane. So you can go right there to that QR code in front of you, or go to betway.ca and go to the members section there and fill out your form to become a new member. And with that new membership, Betway will give you a deposit match bonus of up to $300 on your first deposit. Even if your first bet loses, you're getting up to $300 on your first deposit. So like I said, go there right now, sign up for your membership. Terms and conditions apply. You must be 18 plus. Always bet responsibly, and the offer is still not available in Ontario. Let's go to my picks of the night. I've got 2 from one game, and then I've got 1 from another. I'm going to start with the 1 from the other first. It's an earlier game. The Winnipeg Jets hosting the Seattle Kraken. Pierre, I'm going to credit my good friends, Ian Cameron and Alex Smith, who I watch on the Ice Guys gambling show. And for gambling advice, I tell everybody go over there and check them out. They're great. Pointing out some really tough scheduling for Seattle. They've been on the road now for 10 days, Pierre. And now they got to go into Winnipeg. And as we said, face one of, if not the best teams in the league here, one could argue. And that's just tough. And look, we said it, Pierre. You pointed out they play hard every night. They just don't play much defense. The goaltending's been up and down. I just don't like their chances going in there right now. I like Winnipeg on the puck line, -1.5. That means they have to win by 2. You get them at +114 value. Then I'm going to go to the game we're going to discuss with Michel Goulet, the Carolina Hurricanes at the Colorado Avalanche, or shall we say the Quebec Nordiques at the Hartford Whalers. It's going to be a great one. Looking at the over-under there, it's 5.5. 11 of the last 12 times these two teams have met, the spread has gone over 6. So I'm liking that over 5.5 there. I'm also liking a prop. You can get it right now at +250 in the 2 times that he has played his former team, the Carolina Hurricanes. Avalanche forward Martin Necas has been great. He has 5 points. 2 of those points are goals. You can get him in at any time goal right now at +240. So take him to score a goal. All right, let's go to the Q&A. What do we got? KKXLA 1. Pierre, how do you think Isaac Howard is adjusting to the pro game so far? He seems like way too many people had unreal exceptions for him. I still believe he'll be a good player in the league.
He will be a good player in the league. It's going to take time. It's normal. People forget he started college at Minnesota Duluth. He lasted 1 year there. Then he goes to Michigan State, lasted 1 year there, and then he's moved on. He wins the Hobey Baker, and everybody thinks because he wins the Hobey Baker that he's going to go into the NHL and score 40. Not happening. He's playing as a depth player right now on that team. So, and what the goal that he scored, his first goal should have been a penalty against Connor McDavid.
Yep.
It should have been a penalty. I'm just being honest with you. So he tripped down Ridley Gregg, but it's Connor McDavid. He's not going to get a penalty in that situation, but it should have been. So I'm not taking that goal away from Isaac Howard. He scored his first NHL goal, but I'm just telling you that's how fickle this whole thing is. He's a good player. He is. He's gonna be fine, but it take time.
It takes time. All right, next question. Juice, is he switching up his name? Is this the same Juice? Dash UX8KY. Throwing me a curveball. Out of all the teams in the league that need Gavin McKenna, is it the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, they could use a star like that. I was going to say another one because their stars are getting older. I was thinking Pittsburgh. I was thinking, and you know what? We talk about this a lot. Pittsburgh's farm team in Wilkes-Barre is crushing it right now. They're undefeated, and they've got some good young players there. I've watched them play a fair bit. They've got good players. They're well coached. They're doing a good job down there, and that's positive for them long term. But could they use Gavin McKenna? Yeah, they could. So I think Calgary and Pittsburgh would be two of the leading teams. And what do people in San Jose are saying? What about us? How many times do you want to pick early?
Like, can you imagine here Pittsburgh going Lemieux to Crosby to McKenna? That would be something.
Well, don't forget Malkin. He was pretty good too.
Yeah, Malkin too. All right, next question. What do we got? Randy Workman. What's up, Randy? Do you think the Devils question that maybe splitting starts when Markstrom is healthy?
They might. I don't think Markstrom's going to play all, whatever they got left, 70 games or whatever, 68 games or whatever. But he is what he is. Jake Allen's good. And Nico Dawes is good. Like, Nico is good. Jake Allen's good. They got depth in goal. It's good. That's why they got Markstrom. And I know Michel Goulet's there, and he loved to pick on goalies. He loved to pick on goalies.
Well, let's bring Michel Goulet in, and we'll get back to the questions if we can later. Here he is, Hall of Famer Michel Goulet. How are you, my friend?
Very good, very good. Looked like me and Pierre have the same hairdo, huh?
I'll get the guy that got you. I'll get the guy that got you, Goo.
We forgot our hat, Pierre.
I'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll talk about the hat.
Yeah, for sure.
How's life, my friend?
Life is good in Denver. Yep. Everything is all good. I just finished a nice road trip back home on the farm, and now it's time for the hockey season.
Yes, and how about the throwback game they're doing tonight, the Quebec Nordiques and Hartford Whalers uniforms? What do you think of that?
Wow. Well, it's kind of it goes back in the old days, I guess. You just hope the fans enjoy the game, and at the end of the day, that was team before the Avalanche in Carolina. So that was a team somewhere that, they end up in different cities, but should be a good game. Two good teams.
Yep.
You have one amazing thought when you were part of that amazing rivalry.
Oh, that was a good one. I love Hartford. Probably one of the best team I enjoyed playing the most. But one game I remember, that was like you have to remember back then we have a lot of back-to-back game, huh? We have like 8 games in a season. You play against the same team, so there was a lot of back-to-back. And one time on a Saturday night or something, we're winning. I had 2 goals, and we're winning, and all of a sudden the coach changed the defenseman for Jack McElargy. I'm like, oh yeah, something bad is coming. Yeah, it happened. A good fight, and the next day scored 2 goals again. That was the game I remember the most against Hartford.
Goo, I just wanted to ask you, though, you played for some different guys over the course of your career. Can you describe Michel Bergeron and what it was like to play for Bergie?
Well, Bergie is all about excitement and passion, and I don't think it was not a very about the system and all that. He had one overall, but at the end, it was a lot about emotion and want to win, hate to lose, and I think that was Michel Bergeron right there. He just enjoy the game and really get excited about each game, and obviously there was a time where it was not that much fun, but overall, he had a pretty amazing season in Quebec, career in Quebec.
Michel, going back to your days with the Nordiques there, was there ever a scene, like, look at some of the seasons you had, but when did you feel like maybe you were the closest to maybe getting over the hump there and winning the cup? Did you ever feel like you were approaching it?
Well, a couple of times we were close, but as you go forward in hockey, obviously we all know the hardest sport, trophy to win. It's so hard as you go get better and advance in the playoff, and all of a sudden you realize, holy moly, when we beat Boston, Montreal, Boston, and we end up against the Islanders in 82, I think. I'm like, whoa, we're still far a little bit. And, another time we had the same thing, and we end up against the Flyers in the semis. And, we always are a bit short, but at the end, and I experienced the same thing in Chicago. We end up in the final against Pittsburgh. Maybe it was the coaching. I don't know. Maybe that was the coaching, but you realize he's always pieces missing a little bit. He needs a lot of things to go right to win the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Michel, everybody's got really good memories of the city of Quebec, and you were larger than life. You're one of the few guys that has his number retired by the team. What was it like to be that guy in Quebec as a gars de chez nous, as a francophone in the city of Quebec, and be such a big star?
Well, I really enjoyed the Quebec City and the fans and everything else. Obviously, I started in junior hockey, and I had the chance to see the World Hockey Association, and I went to see as much as I could and see the Nordiques back then, and just loved the Cloutier, Tardif, and Serge Bernier and all those guys. They were so good, and J.C. Tremblay, and obviously you realize how much those guys meant a lot for the city and the team going forward, and that's why we end up with an NHL team in Quebec City. But the fact that I was playing there, I just love it. I just like the passion of the fans and how much they want to win, and I think the team was like that too. But it just, as you all know, at one point everything is not always roses, and we hit the speed bump big time at the end of the 80s, and there was a rebuilding, and that's what happened. And I think it's life in hockey, in sports.
Yeah, I agree.
Michel, I don't know about you, but when I see these teams do these throwbacks and they wear these old jerseys and, you start to feel the nostalgia there, it makes me think of those old rinks, like the Colisée, the old Forum, the Garden. Yeah. You can keep going and on. What was it like? I know Pierre talks about it a lot, but what was it like to play in those old barns, especially in your own barn, the Colisée? And how much did you feel like maybe you guys had a little advantage just because of the dynamics of the rink?
No question. I mean, first of all, the Adams division back then was unbelievable. We had Montreal, we had Boston, we had Buffalo, and you go to Hartford. It was just an amazing division. It was so hard. We all know back then you have team missing the playoff with 80 points and other team making the playoff with 50 points. You know what I mean? That was almost not fair, but at the end, that's what it was at the time. And there's no question playing Quebec City was awesome. I just enjoyed the small ring like Buffalo and Boston. I think Boston's still one of my all-time favorite. But obviously for me, coming from Quebec, the Forum was something really special to see the Lafleur and the Billy Vaux back then. And, it was really, obviously, the history, the Montreal Forum, it was amazing. But in Quebec City, we were trying to make our mark. And, obviously we fell short a few times, but I just enjoy so much to have a hockey game in Quebec City at the Colisée.
One of the things I've always admired about you is you really know players, because you are a great player, but you understand the characteristics of what makes a player great. How good is Ivan Demidov?
Wolf, baby. Yeah, the player there. I saw him a couple of games. You know what he looks like? I'm sure you guys remember, but he looked like a little bit like Sergei Makarov in the old days. Yeah. He's so solid on that puck, and you can't get the puck out of him. I mean, he's solid. Obviously, he's not as built as Makarov, but you can see the vision and the passing. He's going to be a superstar.
Yeah. What do you think of this Avalanche team right now, Michel, in their chances to go far this year in the playoffs? I know that obviously the Western Conference is so tough, but they've got some big – I mean, Nathan McKinnon, enough said about that, and Cal McCarr. But past them, what do you like about their team?
Well, sometimes you don't need to go past them.
That's a good point.
Sometimes they win. Sometimes they win games by themselves. I know it's not the case, but my Lord, are they good? But I like them. Obviously, the start of the season, they got some, different players at the third and fourth line. So we need to give them time. But It's funny. I was thinking a little bit today about about the game tonight, and what can be like a warm up of the Stanley Cup final this year.
Yeah, could be. Both teams.
I mean, you know that they're two good teams. Obviously, a lot of good teams now in the NHL. But I think on the east side, Carolina is right there every year. Good coach. Good players. They well balanced. It's the same thing. I think they did some good things here too, and hopefully. They both gonna have a good season, but I can see the Stanley Cup final between those two teams going forward.
That would be interesting. How good was Peter Stastny?
Oh, Peter. Well, he was the all-time best, I think. As a player and his character and his. You can ask Peter. I think he was a little bit like the Brian Trottier, a little bit type of guy, He can do pretty much anything, and he was like an amazing playmaker. And the nice things about Peter, you don't have to tell him what he needs to do on the ice. Coach sometimes have problem with those kind of players, huh, Pierre? Sometimes. I'm sure sometimes it's hard to talk to Mario and tell him what to do. You don't really need to do that.
No, it's what I tell people all the time. You don't coach a player like Mario. You make sure they're air in the tires, the gas tank is full, and the windshield is clean. Then you get out of the way. Just get out of the way.
They really know. They really know the game, and we're talking about. I always say you have good players, and you have those super guys. Those super guys is totally different. It's another level of playing, and those guys were so good. So that was fun. He was an amazing player.
Yeah, Pierre, it's like that story you've told many times about Mario and when you guys went out to Colorado to have a practice there.
We were late, Goo. We were late landing in Denver for first day of training camp. So I called the office. I said, hey, we're late. And Craig and Scotty were on the phone. They said, we don't care. Get on the ice for practice. So I learned enough. I went to Mario and I said, hey, we got to practice today. He goes, fine. Just make sure we eat. So I pulled over like a Wendy's or a McDonald's, I forget which one, with the team bus. And all the guys went out. They got their bags. They came back on the bus. We go to the Evergreen Lodge. We check in at Vail. We go to the rink across the street. Ask any player that was there. Paul Coffey, Larry Murphy, Kevin Steve. Doesn't matter. Mario said to me, he says, don't worry. I won't let you down. He put on a show that day. Everybody in the rink was like, oh, my God, this is crazy. Crazy. How good he was.
Hey. I believe you, Pierre, because he was my roommate in '87 Canada Cup, and I saw him, going from game one to game whatever, a final. He was just an amazing. He was getting better and better. It's hard to believe that Mario can get better, but in that tournament, it was amazing. He's just like at the end of the day, he was the star. That's for sure.
He was. Well, you were a star as well, my friend. We appreciate you taking the time. All right.
Hey, that was fun. You guys got a great show.
Now, just remember, Goo, at the Hall of Fame on Sunday, I don't get there Saturday, I get Sunday. So
good.
A little piece of room for me to take
care of. We're going to go at McDonald's or Wendy's, whatever.
And then get on the rink. Get on the
ice. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. Michel Goulet join us here on the eye test. Man, he's a character.
Hey, Jimmy, shake his hand. Have you shaken his hand ever?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Like Terry O'Reilly.
Yeah. Like you heard what he said? I just got back from the farm.
Yep. Yeah. He did a lot of farming back in the day, huh? Wow, he's something, man. What a great guy. Like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting him by accident in Quebec City, World Championship. And we've kept in touch since. He's awesome. Thanks to Michel Goulet for joining us there. Let's get back to our Q&A. We didn't forget about you because I see some questions line up. So what do we got? Marco Larabe, 6685. Marco, how you been, my friend? We miss you. Early into the season, which surprising team is the real deal and which one is fool's gold? That's a good question. One I'm kind of undecided on. I already mentioned them. They lost last night, and that's Detroit. That's a good question, Marco. I don't think Pierre. I don't think they go to the playoffs, but I want to give credit to them because they really have exceeded my expectations to this point, and that's the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're working hard out there.
They're working really hard. they're about an injury or two away from
Right.
cracking. Doesn't mean it's fool's
I
gold.
wanted to reference them. That's all.
I do all their games, pregame shows, and they're good. They're a hardworking, well-coached team. Dan Mew's done a nice job, really nice job. But if they ever lose one of the big two down the middle, or they lose one of their big wingers, that's a problem. The line that's dominating right now is Brazeau, Malkin, and and Mantha. Those three guys, they're dominating. They're dominating right now. If they ever lost either Crosby or Malkin, that would be a problem. For them.
And I put maybe the Chicago Blackhawks. I think have surprised us so far, but I don't think they're there yet.
No.
But the one team, and you obviously we talk about them a ton here, Pierre. But I think in terms of mainstream in the United States, I don't know if people are ready for Montreal to be this good.
Then honestly, if that's true,
they're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention, and then
this starts great though.
We can't fix you.
Yep.
No, we can't fix you if you don't know how good they are. I'm disappointed with Toronto.
I am.
Very disappointed in Toronto.
Teams.
Last year, I remember clearly you and I were really disappointed with Nashville at the start of last year. I remember us talking about it. We were both, when you go out and add Marchessault, you add Stamkos, and you think you're about to surge, and they went backwards in a hurry. I'm not saying Toronto's there. Please don't misquote me or misunderstand me. But something's not right in Toronto.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
They got 2 games coming up with Buffalo. Those Friday night games in Buffalo are hard. And part of why they're hard, they used to be played at 8:00. Now they're played at 7:30. And this one, I think, is actually starting at 7, which is a break for Toronto because there'll be less rocket fuel in people's bodies, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you had those 8:00 starts at the odd, and I coached in a lot of those were really difficult for the visiting team. Toronto better take care of business Friday. I'm just telling you, Jimmy, because they're trending the wrong way.
Yeah, and Friday nights in Buffalo are always tough. And one other team I'll mention in a positive respect, give them credit after the nightmare season they had last year, Pierre, is the Vancouver Canucks.
You got to give them a break. They're decimated down the middle. They're injured beyond belief. It's just I feel terrible for Adam Foote and his staff.
Right.
You look at it, they're just absolutely decimated by injury.
Yep. But I love how they're not folding. Last year's
they're not going to fold. They're not going to fold because Adam won't let them.
Yep.
And Scotty Young won't let them. And Brett McLean won't let them. Like they got a really good coaching staff there. But the truth is, Jimmy, there's not a lot left there right now because they're so banged up. It's a mash unit right now. It really is.
It is. And they're in Nashville tonight, so maybe they can close that trip out with a win there. All right, what do we got next? GTL 81199. With the stuff that came out with the NBA, does the NHL have a plan in place if it was to happen there? I would imagine so. That's a weird story, huh, Pierre?
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
Yeah. I don't really want to get into it, but yeah, it's a mess. I would think the NHL has, something ready to prevent that, hopefully, from happening. All right, next question. Puck battle. Question: do you think teams will send waiver-exempt young players to the AHL during the Olympic break to get more playing time?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I can tell you very comfortably, and he's an amazing hockey man. Harry Sinden started all this way back when. When they had players that didn't require waivers and they were on 2-way contracts, or even if they were on one-ways, it didn't matter. Those guys were going to the American League to play during the All-Star break. That's what they were doing. They weren't going on vacation. They were going down.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pierre.
They were getting paid, so they were going down to play.
And by the way, I was wondering what's going on with everybody's names changing so much, Pierre. I think it's Gabriel Lamb. He's saying that the YouTube did this on their own. So people weren't changing because I knew that was Gabe. I knew the other guy is there. And this is Franco's got a question there. All right, let's go. Michael Lemieux 6832. Is it?
I know Michael. He's the main guy, but he's in Vermont. I get. Yeah.
Recognize the picture. Is it too soon for Doc to get back into the lineup?
I wouldn't play him tonight. I said that on Tony Marinara's show last night. I wouldn't. I'd save him, wait till see what happens after tonight, and then maybe put him in Vancouver. I wouldn't mess around.
Was he cleared, Pierre?
far as I know.
Okay. All right. Next question. Ethan Russell, 5512. Could you see Utah making a move for a second pairing defenseman before the deadline? If one becomes available, do you think they will make a move for a goalie as well?
I think they try to do the goalie first.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think it's a great point. They're playing hard. They're playing smart hockey. I give them a ton of credit too. You know, they're playing on top of the game. Cooley looks good. Keller looks good. Gunther looks phenomenal. Gunther looks really good. I haven't seen Sergachev play this consistent in a long time. Like he's really playing consistent hockey. So they got some good stuff going on there. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to get them in the playoffs, but they need goaltending depth. They do.
Yeah, for sure. They're in St. Louis tonight to face the Blues. All right, next question. Canadians 93. Would Steven Stamkos be a good fit for Montreal? Maybe St. Louis can help him with his struggles. He has 2 years remaining at $8 million.
I said the other day on Mitch Melnick's show that I thought Steven could get it turned around. I still believe that. And he scored that night in Montreal. It was pretty funny. It's not been easy for anybody in Nashville, Jimmy. You know, I know there are a lot of rumors now. I hate to say this. Well, I'm friends with both guys. You know, there's big rumors about, hey, Nashville, what about Pete DeBoer? Well, I don't know if this is all on Andrew Burnett, you know. They're a team still looking for an identity. Like they play hard, they play smart in the neutral zone. They just, for whatever reason, and I know Marchessault's hurt right now, they just don't score that easy.
Pierre, I don't know, like if I'm looking in too deep into it, just tell me. But have you ever seen a case where sometimes a team like Nashville goes out and they sign players that have only known one team in their whole career, that have only been in one place? They're so used to their surroundings, like Marchessault in Vegas. Well, he was also somewhere before that, but for the bulk of his career. And then obviously Stamkos in Tampa. And it's just sort of like a culture shock on and off the ice. And you can't, it affects their game, because that's how I read this situation.
Yeah, no, that's fair to say. Now, the experience I had on the other side is I remember when we got Brian Trottier, there was no adjustment period for Brian. I remember when we got Rick Tocchet, there was no adjustment period for Rick. I remember when we got Ronnie Francis, there was no adjustment period. Alfie Samuelson, the same. Like, we got all these guys after they had been in cities for long periods of time, and it worked out for them. I think part of it was the culture that had been created by Craig Patrick and Bob Johnson and Scotty. And I think part of it was those guys were crying out to want to win again. You know, in the case of Brian, to win again. And in the case of, you know, whether it was Joey Mullen to win again, or whether it was, you know, for Ronnie to win for the first time, or for Alfie to win for the first time, they saw the culture that was there and they're like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, and these guys weren't walking into that.
No, they weren't walking. That's what I mean. They're not walking into that down in Nashville. Just not walking into that.
All right, next question. Derek Rendell. Pierre, when people talk about Montreal and their youth prospects outside of the NHL, many regulars pop up. Hage, Fowler, Zarowski. But I keep thinking of Jared Davidson. Thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely agree. Love watching him play. I thought there were some really good things he did in preseason. He got a little bit more of a taste this year, which is good. He's not shy. He can score. They're going to have a real good team. And eventually I think he's going to get another opportunity to play in the NHL.
All right, next question. This is Franco. Who from the Canadian Four Nations roster do you think is at risk of potentially not being on the Olympic roster?
I don't want to answer it that way, so I'll answer it this way. I think Nick Suzuki's got a legitimate chance to be on the team. I think Mark Scheifele's got a legitimate chance to be on the team. I think Tom Wilson's got a legitimate chance to be on the team. Those are three that weren't on the last team that I think will be on the team. So I think there are other guys? I do. I think potentially there are other guys that might have a chance to be on it too. But those would be three that stood out to me that I thought were omissions that could fit on.
I like that you do the positive aspect of that too. All right, next question. GTL or Gabriel Lamb. I'm still going to call him Gabriel Lamb. When will GMs be held more accountable instead of coaches?
Go for it, Jimmy.
I think this is the year, but I'm stealing from Pierre's playbook here. He's been reiterating this to us nonstop since the preseason into this season. I think he's exactly right. And, you know, as we were talking about Nashville there too, Pierre, I wanted to add this. It also makes me think about pro scouting and not just watching guys on the ice, but part of pro scouting that you've taught me is learning about the players' practice habits, about the person, about how they blend in with their teammates. That is key. And if you can't do that, sometimes you get what's happening in Nashville. And I'm not knocking those players. They're all great players, but sometimes it's just not a blend. You need to look deeper to make them blend.
Team building is an art.
There we
You
go.
have it nailed.
All right, next question. Ethan Russell, could you also see Detroit making a move for a top 4D? A guy like Jake Wallman would have been beneficial in their lineup. Yeah, good point, Ethan. Never understood what happened there.
Ethan's just trying to stir it up and make Steve Yzerman mad. That's the one that got away. We don't really know the story either. We've never been told the story, except we've heard from Detroit that we just had to move him on. What that was for, we don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of teams will be looking for top 4 guys. So Montreal, they've got a built-in top 4 guy. Caden Gooley's hurt right now. He's got to get back.
Yep.
And getting Dobson, I know the turnover last night and the penalty were tough, but Dobson's still playing really well. Matheson's gone to a whole other level, which is so good if you're a Canadiens fan, player, or coach. There's a lot to like there. Hudson's really getting his game in check too. Like he's really starting to. So
I know where Ethan's going with that, Pierre, but we kind of discussed this before. Detroit, and we did it with Chris Draper when he was on, remember?
Yep.
They chose to go young. So maybe that's, maybe they're hell bent on it right now. We'll see how it goes.
I'm just trying to think. Remember, I'll keep saying it too. This is the first time I've ever thought this going into this year. The owner, the GM, and the pro scouts, they all matter all the time, but they've never mattered more.
Yeah.
The owner's got to give the guys the money to do it. The GM's got to trust the pro scouts, and the pro scouts can't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And this year it's going to matter because there's no perfect team. Even you heard Goo talk about it, Michel.
Yep.
And I haven't told Michel that. I'm going to talk to him about it when I see him at the Hall of Fame in 2 weeks. But I'm just telling you, like I've never felt or seen this kind of situation in the league like I'm seeing now.
All right. Next question. What do we got? Juice. The Canadians are 5-1 this season in 1-score games. What are they doing well right now to be able to win by 1 goal a night?
What they did last night, if you watch the game after the Klopka goal, they went to a whole other level. I've seen this team do this, all these 1-goal games. They elevate the intensity of the game when the game's in the balance, when it's not been decided one way or the other. And they have this uncanny ability to elevate, whether it's Cole Caulfield, Lane Hudson, Nick Suzuki, Ivan Demidov, Mike Matheson. They elevate, man. It's that's a sign of a really good team.
Mm-hmm.
They get the urgency of the moment.
Yep.
They're good at it. It's a long time ago, but Goo knows because he lost to our team in the Stanley Cup final. Michel Goulet knows. When we needed, and we swept them. Yeah. Every game was pretty tight.
Yeah.
But when we needed
4 with 1 goal.
Yeah. When we needed to elevate, our guys could do it, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yep. And by the way, I know when he said earlier something about the coaching there when we were talking about that. For those that don't realize, that was the year Pierre was with the Pens, the back-to-back year when they beat the Blackhawks in '92. All right, next question. Randy Workman, Jimmy, and Pierre, the Flames could have claimed Phoenix Copley last week. Do you think they should have? Randy, I get what you're going, but like what I said earlier, I think they need more of a established veteran, maybe at the end of his career, that won't mind coming in, doesn't care about his stats, just wants to come in and help and keeps the upbeat atmosphere in the level.
Get Mika Kippersoft back.
Oh, that would be awesome. Kipper.
I'm only joking.
I know, Kipper. All right, next question. Derek Rendell, is Malkin a lock to be traded if the Pens find themselves outside looking in by the deadline? Well, he's doing a lot to increase that trade value, I'll tell you that.
Boy, Gino's this is the best he's played in the last 3 years. They've missed the playoffs the last 3 years. This is the best he's played in the last 3 years. I'm just telling you. It's so great to see. I'm so happy for him. Yeah. He's a tremendous asset, but he's a really, really caring person. Jimmy, I don't even know if there's tape of this, but I was there. After the Russians lost to the Americans at the 2014 Olympics in the shootout, the TJ Oshie moment, I watched all these Russian guys. They were mad, but nobody was hurting more than Gino Malkin. He's crying on the ice. I was there. I'm telling you, this guy cares unbelievable. And I couldn't believe it. Like the passion that he showed in that game was off the charts. And he's done that so much. Look, he's a Conn Smythe Trophy winner.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it. He's a 3-time Stanley Cup champion. He's been in the final 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot there.
Yeah,
he's special.
Good for him. A lot of people wrote him off. He's
big fan of him, boy. Big fan, because he didn't quit. He did not quit on this thing, and he could have.
Yep. All right. Next question. I think. Oh, this is Simo. Pierre, any great stories from your time spent with Doc and Eddie? You guys will always be my favorite crew for playoff games.
Oh, thanks. That means a lot. I know Doc was phenomenal. Eddie had a lot of fun with it. So many big games. 16 years worth. So
yeah,
hard to pick one moment, but Doc and I would get to the rink really early. He'd sit on this side of the desk and I'd sit on this side of the desk, and we would make notes and drink coffee.
Yep.
And then he would tell me historical perspective stories about anything but hockey. His brain was wired for intelligence. Unbelievable how much I learned from him.
A lot of Pittsburgh Pirates stories or what?
Well, some good pirate stories, some great World War II stories, some cool. Great historical stuff when we were at the Summer Olympics in London or the Winter Olympics in Milan and Torino back then. I mean, just great stories.
I always loved that video you guys did. It was like an intermission feature when you went to that famous, I don't know the name of it, Pierre, you'll know, the famous like sub restaurant in Pittsburgh. They make amazing sandwiches.
Primanti Brothers.
Yes, that's it.
Doc and I went there. They asked us to do kind of like a video thing there. I couldn't even get it in my mouth. I was going to leave in Denver. I was like, geez, Louise, come on. We had so much fun. And Doc, I don't think Doc had ever been there, even though they were saying, "Oh, you've been here before." He looked at me like, "I don't remember being there."
Just rolled with it though.
So, yeah.
All right, next question. Puck battle. Do you think Brent Burns will be a difference maker in tonight's Canes-Avs game?
I do. Yep. I do. I didn't like them. Look, they've lost a lot of guys, but Burnsy, it's hard to replace that guy.
Yeah, you know what? That gives me a little idea for a prop there. Get him on a point tonight. He's going to want to get a point against his old team. There you go. All right, next question. Ethan Russell, with thoughts and ideas on the Bruins vibes on Tuesday, how much of management's fingerprints are on the coaching decisions? Could you see a conflict between coaching staff and management this year? I don't know if I'll see a conflict, but I mean, like we said, and we kind of referenced it here with Dupes yesterday. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the team they've given them, and I think they are. I don't know, pulling the strings is too strong a word. There's a mess. They're on the same page. Like what you hear Marco says, Pierre, I think is what's being cast down from above. Yep. All right, next question. Seamoke, Pierre, with the Hawks' hot start, any chance they could sneak into a wild card spot?
I think there's always a chance as long as you're alive and you're relevant. Here's the Mendoza line that I've followed for a long time. This year it'll be the Olympic break. If you're double-digit points, 10 or more points out, by the time you get to the Olympic break, you're not making the playoffs. Yep. So you have to keep it within single digits by the time you get to the Olympic break. If you do that, you got a good chance to make the playoffs.
They might make that goals quota you have, though, the 240.
Yeah. Well, 250.
250, excuse me. Yeah, they might make that with the way their offense is going. All right, that's it for the questions. Thanks to everyone out there for their awesome questions. And, yeah, sorry I didn't know who you were at times there with the new nameplates there from YouTube. I don't know what's going on. But
what a good guest we have tomorrow for On Campus Friday, by the way.
Going to get to that, yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Pierre, I got off that interview, and I was like, that was really fun. I learned a lot about North Dakota and the hockey roots there. And Brad Elliott Schlossman of the Grand Forks Herald will be joining us. He does a great job covering North Dakota, but also the whole college hockey world. You'll want to check that out On Campus Friday tomorrow, right here in the Sick Podcast Network at 4 p.m. Big thanks to Hall of Famer Michel Goulet for joining us. And as always, thanks to Shane, our wonderful producer, back in Montreal. To everybody out there, since we won't be live tomorrow, have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the hockey and enjoy the weather if you got good weather. We will talk to you here on Monday. For Pierre McGuire, I'm Jimmy Murphy. This has been another edition of the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.